Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, September 21st. Quite a cool morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Indeed, it's been cooler than normal and very dry in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., the Great Lakes region over the past few days, and indeed very dry over the past week or so, and it continues to look like a dry pattern right through the upcoming week. Throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., and the Great Lakes. Very, very strong, persistent high pressure to the north dominating the weather scene. Meanwhile, a couple of tropical systems we're still keeping our eye on this morning. Tropical storm Beta right near the Texas coastline will be a slow mover, produce a lot of rainfall right along the Texas coastline over the next few days. And Hurricane Teddy is a Category 2 storm this morning. Producing tropical storm conditions on the island of Bermuda. It will move to the north and then a little bit to the north and west and impact Nova Scotia by late Tuesday night and Wednesday on its way to the Canadian Maritime provinces. After Nova Scotia, looks like it'll have an impact on Newfoundland and then head on up towards Greenland. Before we get into some of the details, let's take a look at the latest sea surface temperature anomaly map. A couple interesting things going on. First of all, we continue to have La Nina conditions in the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean, right in this region right here. It extends all the way down, really, the west coast of South America, the equator being right in this region right here. Cooler than normal conditions out here, contributing to a below normal tropical season in the Pacific Ocean and really well below normal in the largest ocean in the world, but it also helps to contribute to an above normal season in the Atlantic, as it often leads to lower wind shear than normal in the tropical Atlantic, and indeed that is a favorable factor. And of course we are having a very active season in the Atlantic basin. We are now to the Greek alphabet. That hasn't happened since 2005, the supercharged year of 2005. The latest named system is Beta, the one right along the Texas coastline. Another interesting area, notice right here, a little cooler than normal waters right here. And this is where Hurricane Teddy exists right at the moment. And indeed, this was caused by upwelling underneath Hurricane Paulette a week or two ago. And it is contributing to the slight weakening of Teddy. It had been a major hurricane all the way up to Category 4 a couple of days ago. Now again, it's down to Category 2 with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles an hour. Can't see it too clearly right here, but Bermuda is right here, and it is just to the east of Bermuda, producing some tropical storm conditions. And then we'll head on up to the Canadian Maritime provinces right here, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, before it ultimately ends up near Greenland. Well, here's the latest map from NOAA's Hurricane Center based in Miami. Bermuda right here, this underneath the T here is a little bit of a speck. That's the island of Bermuda. Teddy moving just to the east. Again, looks like it'll ultimately end up near Nova Scotia. Perhaps still as a hurricane, if not a hurricane, a very strong extratropical system Tuesday night, Wednesday time frame, and then after that it'll turn to the north and east and have an impact on Newfoundland. Again, it'll continue to weaken slightly over the next several hours as it moves over those cooler than normal waters. Of course, it'll be cooler waters up here as well. So if it does hit Nova Scotia, it'll be a weak hurricane. Otherwise, it may be kind of an extratropical system. Nonetheless, a big storm, a strong storm, headed for Nova Scotia and Canada. Then again, it may have some impact on New Brunswick, just to the north and west of Nova Scotia and the Newfoundland. Meanwhile, we have this tremendous high pressure just sitting up in this part of the nation right now in southeastern Canada, and strong easterly winds. Oftentimes that results in some convergence down here along the Florida Straits, and indeed we have a tropical wave here. We'll have to kind of continue to monitor over the next few days. Very strong onshore flow across Florida for several days produces some showers, a little bit cooler than normal conditions in terms of temperatures, and the threat for tropical cyclone spinning up here. So we'll continue to monitor this as these onshore flow, these onshore winds are not going away anytime too soon across Florida. Meanwhile, Beta, a tropical storm, looks like it'll just kind of ride the Texas coastline and go slowly to the north, maybe into southern Louisiana over the next few days. Again, a significant rain producer, as it'll be a very slow mover, probably not going to reach hurricane status, but again, tropical storm Beta right along the Texas coastline will kind of ride along the coastline over the next couple of days. Well, let's take a look at a colorized infrared satellite imagery loop of Hurricane Teddy. Category 2, maximum sustained winds 100 miles an hour. Not showing any signs of intensification right now. If anything, a little bit of weakening again as it moves over those cooler waters, even cooler than normal waters out in the central Pacific that were generated through upwelling when Paulette moved over the same part of the Atlantic. Still pretty symmetrical looking storm, and it'll generally graze the island of Bermuda with tropical storm conditions and then head on up towards Nova Scotia, where it will be quite a big storm. Perhaps still hurricane status, if not a very strong extratropical storm Tuesday night, Wednesday time frame to hit and impact the Nova Scotia part of Canada, and then New Brunswick may get some impact just to the north and west of Nova Scotia, Newfoundland to the northeast. And here's an colorized infrared satellite imagery loop of Beta, tropical storm, maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. Unlikely to reach hurricane status in an area of some wind shear. Again, it'll produce some significant rainfall right along the Texas coastline and then all the way up into Louisiana. We may be dealing with Beta as late as Thursday or Friday of this week along the northern Gulf Coast or western Gulf Coast, as it is a slow mover. Well, let's wrap up by looking at the North Atlantic view of the GFS model run from last night at 60, the operational version here. Three big players on the map this morning. Tremendous high pressure system over New England, southeast Canada. Again, playing a big role in the ultimate storm track of Teddy, which is out here, Hurricane Teddy. And here is Tropical Storm Beta. Again, winds flow clockwise around highs, and that's producing very strong onshore flow, east to northeast winds along the Carolina coastline, Georgia, and especially across Florida. Sometimes that results in a spin up of a tropical system, and there is a wave in that area right now. Southern Florida will have to monitor over the next couple of days. But let's move forward here. First of all, let's focus on Teddy. And it grazes Bermuda over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Tropical storm conditions on its way up towards Nova Scotia. And here's Beta hanging right along the Texas coastline. And let's just move forward here and look at Teddy. It moved north and then started turning to the north and west. And indeed, by the time we get to Tuesday night and Wednesday, very strong storm impacting Nova Scotia at this time, late Tuesday night, Wednesday. And again, it could be still a hurricane. Otherwise, it may be considered an extratropical but very strong system at this particular time. And then it moves on north and east to Newfoundland and ultimately up towards the area of Greenland later on in the weekend and into the weekend. Well, now let's go back to the beginning of this map progress here through the week, starting off Monday morning again, and now let's kind of focus in on the continental U.S. Here's that strong high pressure system and Beta, and we just talked about Hurricane Teddy. Let's just move forward here and watch Beta here as we go through the next few days. It just kind of spins around, and it will produce some significant rainfall, but here we are now into Wednesday morning, 48 hours from now, still virtually the same location. So again, has the possibility of producing some significant rainfall. Will not be anything like Hurricane Harvey, which stalled out over the Houston area, but indeed it could produce some significant rainfall right along the coastline here, and then it moves up to the north and east towards Louisiana. And again, we may be dealing with Beta as late as Thursday and Friday of this week, but still high pressure system over the southeastern part of Canada kind of reestablishes itself later in the week, and the ultimate result there is that dry weather pattern will continue for the next several days over the mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. Great Lakes. It's been quite dry in recent weeks, and it looks like that'll continue through much of the remainder of this week. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.